Canelo. Jesus Lord. Come on. You're getting paid all this money to fight against a runner who we all knew was gonna run. The Cuban style. You chose him. And now you say you hate fighting runners? Well then, don't fight runners.
I don't know what the he was doing, you know. I heard that that's never happened to him until he got with Reynoso's group, you know what I'm saying? So maybe they are doing shit that they're not supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they didn't clean him out at the right time and he got caught up, you know? So, you know, I guess I'll just wait for him too. I just got to focus on July 12th. You know, after that, anything can go.
It was, it's not interesting to see the fight when one person doesn't want to win at all. But it was hard fight for Canelo because he was always aiming, and even the skull didn't throw punches, and it's hard to catch him. You know, he's just moving. But his movement is good, to be honest.
Yeah.
It feels like boxing is reaching a shocking moment as Canelo Alvarez now faces a battle that has nothing to do with punches or knockouts. This is not about age or decline, but about long-standing accusations of steroids, PEDs, and doping that refuse to fade away. A fighter once praised as the pound-for-pound king and the pride of Mexico is now surrounded by doubt instead of celebration. Once seen as the heir to Floyd Mayweather, his legacy is now being questioned, and the noise outside the ring is starting to feel louder than anything he ever faced inside it.
And it's fucked up that they don't got Tank as one of the top guys, pound for pound. And you look, they can rate Canelo up there, and I just feel like Canelo is one of the guys. He's one of the top guys up there, but he's not the only guy. Even though Spence went through what he went through, and Crawford, these guys should be rated up there. Every time they went out there, they done what they had to do. There's so many young fighters that's up and coming that we don't talk about. That kid Ennis, boo, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him. I tell these fighters, don't. Hell of a fighter. Benavidez should be ranked in the top pound for pound. But what we don't talk about is, you know, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
You think he was clean the night he fought?
I'm saying, I don't know.
From the 2018 clenbuterol controversy to rivals like Terence Crawford, David Benavidez, and Jermall Charlo openly questioning his credibility, the doubts around Canelo Alvarez have never fully disappeared. Some fans now believe this chapter is coming to an end, but it is impossible to ignore who he once was, a fighter who turned pro at just 15 years old, a red-headed kid from Guadalajara who carried the hopes of Mexico, fought anyone anywhere, and built his name as one of the hardest workers boxing had seen before controversy began to define the conversation around him.
The cars, everything you want, beautiful family. What motivates you to keep going? Why do you keep going?
I love boxing. I love what I do. I still enjoy my training camps. I enjoy boxing. I love this. I enjoy a lot this. So, and I want to continue to make history because I want to put my name in a big stage, in a big position for my history. So, and I still enjoy it.
He rose into a global icon and became the biggest superstar Mexico had produced in generations, winning unified titles and turning into the face of boxing pay-per-view before cementing his legacy forever as Canelo Alvarez when he made history by becoming the first undisputed super middleweight champion and proved that his name was not just part of the sport but the center of it.
People talk shit and say whatever they want to say, but look at Canelo. Canelo is still the man.
Yes.
You know?
He's been for a long, long time.
And he jumps in there and he does it and he goes to work, and it's hard to stay at that level for a very long time. And Canelo's another guy. I mean, what's this guy clipping?
He shared the ring with Gennady Golovkin and Miguel Cotto, then moved on to conquer names like Sergey Kovalev, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant. And with every victory, the legend around Canelo Alvarez only grew stronger, but even the biggest legends are not untouchable, and in 2018, the first real cracks in that perfect image finally began to show.
Fucking Canelo, man. I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like Triple G.
There's a lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, well, he definitely got busted once.
for something. But it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them the fuck alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
The boxing world was fully focused on the huge rematch between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin when everything suddenly flipped just weeks before the fight. The sport was rocked after Canelo tested positive twice for clenbuterol, a banned substance, and in that moment the hype turned into doubt, and the first serious questions around his legacy began to surface.
Canelo Alvarez failed a drug test before his big Triple G fight in May, and he's blending Mexican cows. All right, here's the deal. 2 months until the rematch with Gennady Golovkin on May 5th is going to be the big fight, and he's been taking drug tests leading up to the fight, standard operating procedure. This time he popped for a substance called clenbuterol, which is a banned substance. As a matter of fact, it helps you cut weight. A lot of people use it illegally to cut weight while maintaining muscle mass. He is saying he did not cheat. He's not a cheater. I did not intentionally take clenbuterol. Problem is, I've been training in Mexico and eating contaminated cow beef. That's what he's saying. There's a problem apparently in Mexico where some of the cattle are being injected with clenbuterol, which helps cows. It's illegal in the United States, but some places outside the United States, even some places in the United States, will use clenbuterol to grow bigger cows, to up the protein content in the meat. And he's saying that what he had was contaminated meat because his training center is in Mexico and there's a problem with Mexican meat down there. He even issued a statement saying, quote,
his explanation was contaminated beef in Mexico, and while it is true that clenbuterol has appeared in cattle feed there before, many fans were not convinced. To them it sounded like a convenient cover for Canelo Alvarez, a fighter who always looked stronger, faster, and more powerful than everyone else, and that skepticism only deepened the doubts that were already starting to follow him.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. just reignited controversy about Canelo Alvarez's legacy. Not only did he call their 2013 fight easy, Floyd went deeper. He brought up the failed steroid test from 2018, Mayweather said. Canelo's transformation raised red flags and questioned whether all those knockouts were clean. This dude talking about eating bad meat? Are you eating steroid cows? To Mayweather. This isn't trash talk, it's about protecting the sport. He believes Canelo's record is clouded by performance enhancers, especially against smaller fighters. With Crawford stepping up in weight, Floyd's warning hits hard. Be smart. Don't base everything on power.
Canelo Alvarez was handed a 6-month suspension by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, forcing the fight to be postponed and turning his once untouchable reputation upside down. In boxing, once your name gets tied to performance-enhancing drugs, it sticks, and the shadow never fully disappears, and years later the scrutiny has only intensified with fighters like David Benavidez openly challenging him, saying that if Canelo were truly confident he would step in the ring, but when multiple members of your team have tested positive, it raises serious questions about what's really going on behind the scenes.
If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does five?
You saw De La Hoya call him out.
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? All those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Pointing at his whole team, David Benavidez suggested everyone was involved, while Jermall Charlo accused Canelo Alvarez of microdosing clenbuterol for years to avoid detection, creating a shadow of suspicion that now looms over his entire career.
Nothing. Jamal, I'm just asking, when you think about Canelo and the PED usage, right? This is probably the 4th or 5th fighter out of that camp that's come up hot for PEDs. Just what are your thoughts around that? And
I've been telling y'all about Snack for a long time. Victor Conte them. All right, so hear me out. No bullshit for real. They make the drug at the limit of non-responsible. All right, so this right here, this level is you're banned. That's a banned substance. They will make the drug all the way up to the line of the banned substance, but it doesn't show, so it's not responsible. So they've been doing that shit for years, but now that they, tapped into it, it's getting caught. Y'all think Canelo hasn't been taking clenbuterol for a long ass time? Y'all think he ain't back on that shit? Or y'all think it was just in the state? Because I go to Mexico all the time. I'm from Houston, from Texas. I'm in Mexico all the time eating steak. I ain't never got popped for no shit like that.
When you think these guys when you think about
they microdosing it, they're look, no excuse. I'm not trying to put nobody out there. This don't got this not just boxing. This a lot of athletes all over the world. They make the drug right there to the line of like disqualification, but they don't surpass it. So they're not getting caught for it. A lot of these fighters are all kind of shit.
And now Terrence Crawford, ahead of their September clash, doubled down on it. He's not clean.
What's up, everybody? I want to give a big shout out to Snack, always supporting and helping me out with this previous fight. Snack strong, baby.
Now Terrence Crawford, ahead of their September showdown, has doubled down, saying bluntly that Canelo Alvarez is not clean, adding even more fuel to the controversy surrounding his legacy. When opponents call you out before fight night, rivals openly mock you, and fans constantly question every win, your career starts to feel fragile, and no number of belts or titles can fully protect Canelo Alvarez from the storm of doubt surrounding him.
There's not much you can do either. The other thing about it is, like, once your body doesn't produce it anymore and you're in your late 30s like that and you've been juicing for a long time.
There's like Clomid and stuff that tries to or HCT or HTC. What's is that that's a cell phone? Either way,
HCG or something like that.
Whatever it is, but it's supposed to boost your testosterone naturally, but never to the levels when you're injecting that Jamba Juice.
No, not only that though, you can't take that stuff. It's
not
illegal.
in the UFC.
Right, it's illegal.
I'm just saying that's true. I guess when he retires, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, when he retires or goes to Ryzen. Can you imagine? The UFC lets him out of the contract, and then all of a sudden he disappears for like 8 months, and just we hear just locked in the house with horse meat, just fillet of horse all day.
He's eating that Canelo meat
and goes back to deadlift and hanging out with.
Let's be honest, peds change the entire game in boxing. They don't just make a fighter stronger, they help with recovery, make cutting weight easier, and boost stamina, allowing someone to endure battles that others simply can't, which is why so many fans feel betrayed, because it's not just cheating, it's dangerous. When one fighter has that advantage, every punch becomes a loaded weapon, and the past of Canelo Alvarez. S-Camp only adds to the doubt, with close allies like Jaime Angia also testing positive, making it clear, as David Benavidez says, it's not just him, it's the whole team. The real tragedy is that Canelo has done everything a fighter can do. He's unified divisions, fought pound-for-pound stars, and carried boxing on his back for almost a decade, yet legacy isn't just about titles, it's about how fans remember you, and right now, he risks being remembered not as a hero, but as a cheat walking under the same shadow that forever tainted legends like Barry Bonds and Lance Armstrong.
Everyone watch this.
How would you have done if you didn't cheat?
It'd be very difficult, right? Old school doping, cortisone, and other things here and there. 1, maybe 2%. EPO is a 10%. What do you think we all did?
But you didn't get 10% better, you got 100% fraudulent. This isn't about redemption, it's reputation damage control in disguise. You didn't make a tough choice, you made the easiest one. Lie, inject, win, repeat. And while you were stacking trophies and $1 million brand endorsements, you were burying every clean athlete who still believed in hard work. You were a role model to me as well until you became a warning label. You didn't cheat the system, you cheated the fans, you cheated the sports, and you cheated yourself. And now you're trying to justify setting a wrong example for anyone who's actually trying to get ahead in life. And this is exactly why I don't do business with anyone who buys followers and likes on social media. Because if you lie about that, what else are you lying about?
Let's face it, Canelo Alvarez isn't the same force he once was. The aura of dominance, the raw energy and explosiveness that used to define him just doesn't land the way it used to, and the proof was clear in his latest fight against William Skell, where fans were expecting a classic Canelo performance, but instead got 12 dull rounds that felt lifeless, with Canelo looking more like a man coasting through the motions than the pound-for-pound king he was once celebrated as, while Skell, a relatively unknown fighter on paper, never posed a real challenge, yet the fight somehow lacked the spark that used to make Canelo fights unforgettable.
Load of rubbish. The fight really was a waste of time. If you haven't watched it, don't watch it, because there's better things you can be doing, like probably watching the grass grow or watching some paint dry maybe. But that fight was a total waste of time. Watching that as a former unified super middleweight world boxing champion and Hall of Famer, I was thinking to myself, what an opportunity you've got there. If I was fighting still 10 years ago, if that opportunity came up for me, I know Canelo Alvarez is going to be a tough fight for anybody. I know it's a long ask trying to beat a guy like that, but come on, if I'm in there with Canelo for whatever amount of money, there's going to come a point where I'm saying, right, I'm going for it now. Probably around 3 or 4, I'm going to stick it on him and have a go. To be given an opportunity like that, Skull defending his IBF title and potentially becoming undisputed, to go in there and just perform like that, for me. It's not acceptable, and I think in my day and with my mindset and the way I used to fight, I'd have gone for it. Just gone for it, and then give the boxing fans, and do myself on my training.
Yet Canelo Alvarez didn't deliver a statement fight, he didn't go for the finish or send a message to the boxing world. Instead, it was a slow, methodical, and honestly boring unanimous decision that left fans wanting more, and that's the problem. Boxing audiences don't watch Canelo to see him go through the motions. They want big, high-stakes fights that define careers, and one name has been looming over him for years: David Benavidez, the Mexican powerhouse whose fans and the boxing world have been clamoring to see face Canelo. Yet time and again Canelo sidesteps, dismisses, or avoids the matchup, opting for safer opponents like William Skell, while Benavidez keeps knocking out contenders and proving he might be the true king at super middleweight. And it's not just fans noticing, pundits, former fighters, and even promoters are saying the same thing. Canelo is protecting his status instead of proving it, because deep down everyone knows Benavidez is a real threat and Canelo isn't willing to risk the one thing that has kept his aura alive: his position as boxing's top star.
Canelo running from Benavidez. What is that? I mean, imagine if I ever ran from anybody. Like, did I run from somebody in my career? No. Did Chavez run from somebody in his career? No. Chavez was 87-0. Imagine that. So to me, that's the all-time.
Terence Crawford, on the other hand, has had to climb from lightweight to welterweight and now push himself up 2 full divisions to face Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds, which is a massive jump. You're talking about a fighter usually weighing between 147 and 154 pounds going up against a man who has been dominating bigger, stronger, naturally heavier opponents for years, and the physics of that matchup are hard to ignore. Can Crawford's speed, ring intelligence, and counterpunching make up for Canelo's raw power and size? That's the central question. Yet, even with all the doubts and skepticism, fans remain excited and eager to see how this David versus Goliath style battle will play out in the ring.
Terence Crawford, does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo?
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he loses. Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Errol Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68?
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah, I can make 160.
The boxing world is completely divided, with some people believing Canelo Alvarez's size and raw power will steamroll Terence Crawford, while others argue that Crawford's skill, timing, and ring intelligence are so precise they could neutralize everything Canelo brings to the table, making this one of the most intriguing matchups in years.
What the next couple months are going to hold for both guys?
This is going to be super interesting for Canelo especially. Everyone's focusing on Terence Crawford because he's a smaller guy. How much weight is he going to put on, etc., etc. No rehydration clause in this fight. Meaning, you know, like when Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo's the bigger guy, he put a rehydration clause in, because Floyd was the money guy. If Canelo wanted the payday, he had to acquiesce and give Floyd what he wanted. Canelo's the money guy. Terence Crawford can't go in there and say, hey, I want a rehydration clause. Not that he even would, right? So everyone's looking at Crawford. How big is he going to be? But I'm looking at Canelo. What Canelo comes into this fight? The older Canelo, meaning the younger Canelo, the older guy, you know, the old, long time ago Canelo, who was a really well-rounded counterpuncher, who could do everything, or this more recent Canelo, who just hunts guys down and has become more one.
And that's exactly why this fight matters so much, despite all the doubts and the weight controversy the world will be watching, because when greatness meets greatness in the ring, it's a spectacle no one can ignore, and it's exactly that clash of elite talent that keeps fans glued to every punch, every round, and every moment.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me.
Look.
It's gonna be me.
I don't care about nobody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stuff a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same shit everybody else been saying since I moved to 147. I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them. Stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next.
So is it really over? On paper, Canelo Alvarez is still boxing's biggest star, still selling pay-per-views and filling stadiums, but in the court of public opinion, he's already under fire. Every win gets questioned, every loss is seen as proof he's finally been exposed, and his opponents no longer fear him, they challenge him openly, and in boxing, once your reputation is gone, your career is at risk. Canelo will keep fighting and cashing in, but the aura, the myth, the sense of invincibility he once carried might already be gone. So what's your take? Is he still one of the greatest ever, or has the storm of accusations already damaged his legacy? Will his upcoming fight with Terence Crawford finally silence the critics, or will it become the moment that cements doubts for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and